Welcome back to my channel Knowledge Chronicle.
Today, we're unlocking the secrets of one of biology's most fascinating processes, gametogenesis. Ever thought about how life begins at the cellular level? How our bodies prepare those tiny cells, sperms and eggs, to ensure reproduction? Let's break it all down in the simplest yet most detailed way possible. Gametogenesis is the process by which gametes, that is, sperms in males and ova or eggs in females, are formed in the primary sex organs. In males, the testes produce sperm. In females, the ovaries produce ova. This entire process is beautifully regulated and highly coordinated. Gametogenesis includes two major processes: spermatogenesis in males, oogenesis in females. Let's first explore spermatogenesis. This process begins at puberty, when certain hormones are activated. Inside the seminiferous tubules of the testes, live spermatogonia, immature germ cells. These are diploid cells, meaning they carry 46 chromosomes. Now the process starts like this. First, mitosis. Spermatogonia multiply through mitotic divisions, producing more spermatogonia. Some of these develop into primary spermatocytes, still diploid. These primary spermatocytes enter meiosis 1, where they divide to form two secondary spermatocytes, now haploid, each with 23 chromosomes. These secondary spermatocytes quickly undergo meiosis 2, producing 4 haploid spermatids. Now comes spermiogenesis, a transformation where spermatids become fully structured spermatozoa or sperm cells. Finally, during spermiation, the mature sperms are released into the lumen of the tubules. So, from one diploid spermatogonium, 4 functional sperms are formed. This process is triggered by the hypothalamus, which secretes GnRH, gonadotropin-releasing hormone, at puberty. GnRH acts on the anterior pituitary gland, stimulating the release of 2 key hormones. LH, or luteinizing hormone, targets the Leydig cells in the testes to produce androgens, mainly testosterone. Testosterone stimulates spermatogenesis. FSH, or follicle-stimulating hormone, targets the Sertoli cells, helping in the maturation of spermatids into spermatozoa. This hormone coordination ensures sperm production begins and continues efficiently after puberty. A sperm is tiny but highly specialized. It has a head containing a haploid nucleus and a cap-like structure called the acrosome, filled with enzymes that help penetrate the egg during fertilization. A middle piece packed with mitochondria that provide energy for movement. And a tail, also called the flagellum, that propels the sperm forward. During ejaculation, a male releases 200 to 300 million sperms, but for fertility, at least 60% should have a normal shape, and 40% should be actively motile. After spermiation, the sperms travel through accessory ducts. Along the way, glands like the epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicles, and prostate gland add their secretions. These fluids combine with sperms to form semen. This seminal plasma not only nourishes but also enhances sperm motility and protection. The activity of these glands is also controlled by androgens. Now let's talk about the female gamete, the ovum. Oogenesis is quite different from spermatogenesis and begins before birth, during embryonic development. Around 2 million oogonia are formed in the fetal ovaries. These enter meiosis 1 but get arrested in the prophase stage. These cells are now called primary oocytes. Each primary oocyte gets surrounded by granulosa cells to form a primary follicle. From birth to puberty, many of these follicles degenerate. By puberty, only 60 to 80,000 remain. Some primary follicles develop further into secondary follicles and then into tertiary follicles. The tertiary follicle has a fluid-filled cavity called the antrum and 2 protective layers, theca interna and theca externa. Now, the primary oocyte inside this tertiary follicle completes meiosis 1, but unequally forming 1 large haploid secondary oocyte and 1 tiny first polar body, which may degenerate or divide again. This secondary oocyte retains most of the cytoplasm, an advantage, as it provides nutrients for the early stages of development if fertilization occurs. The mature follicle is now called the Graafian follicle, and it ruptures during ovulation, releasing the secondary oocyte. This oocyte is now ready for fertilization, surrounded by a protective zona pellucida. Let's now understand how these two processes differ. Spermatogenesis starts at puberty and continues throughout life. In contrast, oogenesis begins before birth and proceeds in a monthly cycle from puberty to menopause. In males, each germ cell produces 4 functional sperms, but in females, only 1 functional ovum is produced from 1 primary oocyte, along with non-functional polar bodies. Cytoplasmic division in spermatogenesis is equal, while in oogenesis, it is highly unequal, favoring the ovum. Sperm are small and motile, while the ovum is large, nutrient-rich, and immobile. These differences highlight the unique biological strategies of males and females for successful reproduction. And that's the complete story of gametogenesis, from spermatogonia to sperms and from oogonia to ovum. Understanding these beautifully orchestrated processes helps us appreciate the complexity of human life. If this explanation helped you understand the topic clearly, then your one like, share and subscribe will help us create more valuable content. This is Knowledge Chronicle, where science becomes simple. See you in the next video.